Councilman Miller. I'll reiterate, do appreciate all the feedback we've received from both Woonsocket as well as people from outside of Woonsocket over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I will say, no matter which way the vote goes tonight, I can tell you with absolute sincerity that everybody up on this council has wrestled hard with their decisions. They don't take it lightly. There's been a lot of soul searching, a lot of research, a lot of gnashing of the teeth. So no matter which way people vote, understand they're doing what they think is best for their community as well as the broader community. That being said, I'm going to reiterate a couple comments I heard here tonight. Some from Council Vice President John Brady. Anybody that knows me, when I ran for office, one of the things I said was there's a right way and a wrong way of doing things. Process matters. When we gathered, the first time this council gathered with the folks from Invenergy and the administration, 2 days, 2 days after we were inaugurated, we met first with the administration, and 2 days later we met with Invenergy. We all agreed that time was of the essence. We had a short time frame. We talked about the day that we would have this discussion, January 10th. We talked about the date of the public hearing. We talked about, prior to the public hearing, agreeing upon, not talking about, but agreeing upon a set of clear terms and conditions to which we could explain to the public well in advance of the January 6th meeting, and then have an agreement following thereafter. A lot of time went by. I won't go through it in chapter and verse, but there were a number of days and weeks that passed without much activity. Despite, again, us saying that time was of the essence, and despite this council working in good faith with Invenergy to assist them, if you will, in keeping the ball in play with the Energy Facility Siting Board. By telling them, we're willing to talk and have discussions. You can go back to the Energy Facility Siting Board on December 12th or thereabouts and let them know that you may have a deal forthcoming in order to keep the ball in play. So we're very accommodating, and we're very open-minded. And I can assure you, nobody up here had their minds made up that they felt an obligation to explore it. And when a significant business or economic engine comes into the state or the city, it's something we have to look at. So we did that. But again, process matters. And we agreed to a process, and I don't feel, to be very frank, that all sides adhere to the process as well as they can. And I understand there are some parties, the longer things take, maybe the clock is running and they're making money. My time is limited, but my time is valuable as well. And I said right from the beginning, I don't want to screw around with this. I had some pretty clear parameters. Let's get to it and agree on what we're going to agree on. And it hasn't happened. Mr. Radcliffe said there's an agreement that was sent to us, that's true, on Friday, January 6th, a draft agreement. It was received just prior to the hearing that we had on Friday night. I did take the time to provide comments back to the other side, if you will, on January 7th, Saturday, January 7th. It's now the 10th. I've heard nothing in response to those comments, and I don't think my comments and my edits, if you will, to that draft agreement were egregious. I think they were well within the discussions we've had about putting some certain limitations on water usage, again, based on the assertions made by Invenergy. I'm not interested in having my back against the wall and rushing through an agreement in the next day or two, to be very honest with you. We had time, in my view, to work through this. I don't think I'm interested at this point to say, let's try to hash through something so that we can get in a bidding war with Johnston. That never should have happened. This stuff should have been agreed to. We should have had a binding memorandum of agreement well in advance of the January 6th hearing, and we could move forward. Yes, Borough will pass the tax treaty, and I understand the arguments on some side of the house, if you will, that say, hey, we're doing the same thing as Borough did, we're protecting our interests And there is merit to that. There is merit to that, I believe. I won't completely discount it. However, I would just like to say that it is a little different. Burrillville faces the prospect of having this plant imposed upon them by an unelected, unaccountable board, quite frankly. 3 people at the Energy Facility Siting Board. So they face the prospect of having this imposed upon them. We're not going to have it imposed upon us directly in our backyard, but yes, we'll be affected. But in terms of protecting themselves, that tax agreement, quite frankly, put resources in their pocket to fight this. So it is a little bit different kettle of fish. Although I understand the argument and I don't completely discount it, I do think it is a little bit different situation. I'm not going to speculate on what Conrad Johnson's going to do. They're going to do what they're going to do. Have at it. I'm happy to have discussions with people in good faith. I'm happy to look at everything with an open mind. I'm happy to make hard decisions that either may not be popular, but they're probably the right decision for the city. But what I'm not happy with is working through a process that I feel has been flawed and less than forthcoming. I'm going to be very honest with you. So it's hard for me to sit here tonight at this late hour with the clock ticking saying, let's agree to something because this time we mean it will really iron something out. We've had ample time and a lot of time went by, and I feel like, I'm going to be very honest with you, I feel like we've been being played with. And that gives me pause as to whether or not I really want to get into a long-standing agreement that's going to have an impact on this city with folks that are working that way, to be very honest with you. I may be wrong, but I've been left with an uneasy and uncomfortable feeling. Again, I sent something on Saturday to try to be productive, to try to be constructive, to try to keep the ball moving, and nothing came back. And we could have even something as simple as, we don't agree to these things, or we agree to this, but these are a problem. And frankly, this is the same thing that happened on December 15th. We got together as a group, we gave a number, it wasn't in writing, but it was communicated, and we didn't get anything back in writing or anything back in terms of that offer for 2 weeks. So I'll leave it there for now. I'll defer to anybody else for the second time, or you can move to a vote, however you want to proceed. Thank you.